Today we're going to be setting up a small PA system. Before we do, let's take a look at the inventory, what you're going to find. Some of these items are unboxed and some of them are in the box. As I demonstrate, they will already be out of the box. So the items that you will receive will be 2 of these longer cords. These can be called microphone cords if you want. Okay, you see how they have 3 connectors in them? So there's 2 long ones and there's 2 short ones. You'll also get a Furman power strip. You'll get 2 wireless microphone kits. Here are the pieces: the microphone in a bag, the power supply, and the microphone receiver. And there are a couple of antennas on it, okay? You'll get a mixer, one of these mixers, okay? The model might be a little different than this one, but you'll have a mixer, and the concepts of using the mixers are very similar from one to the next, okay? This is the wireless microphone that's still in the box, so you'll have 2. There's one there, there's one here. You'll get 2 of these power cords, and these power cords go to the speakers, okay? This is one speaker, and here's the other speaker in a box still. You'll get 2 speaker stands. Here is one that is set up, and here is one that's still in the bag. You'll get 2 microphone stands. Here is one that is set up, and there's one that is still compact down. The microphone clips might be in the box with the microphone. Okay, so you're all going to need to learn how to do this, so I'll go ahead and assemble it for you. Okay, let's get started. The first thing you'll want is to connect your power to a very reliable power source. Okay, remember that we are not supplying extra extension cords, so as you scout out your location, you need to look to see how much extension cord that you need. Please use heavy-duty extension cords. The longer they are, the more heavy-duty they need to be. Okay? I'm just going to be plugging into right here for now. Turn the power supply on and you'll see a red light come on here just to verify that everything's working. Turn it back off while we plug everything in and get settled. Okay? The next thing you'll want to open up is your mixer. Okay, so you get the power cord out, plug the power cord in, get the mixer out, plug the power into the mixer. We're not going to be supplying chairs and tables either, so this will fit pretty small. You can have a small square table. So you plug the power in to this, and then you find somewhere central to place it. I'll just put it here for now. Okay. Next, we'll plug in the microphones. Depending on how visible this table is, you may want to dress up the cables so that they look nice and all the power cords are hidden. Power cord just plugs in here like usual. These microphones, as you'll see on the second one, will not be connected when you first get it out of the box. This is called a BNC connection. It only goes in one way. You can move it around until you find the little slots for it, push it in, and turn it until it clicks, okay? When those 2 are fully connected, you put them at an angle, about 30 degrees. Next, you'll want to get the microphone cord, the short one, Okay, you get one of these microphone cords, and you're going to go, you'll see that one of them is male and one of them is female, and they only go in one way. One connector will go to where it says mic 1, and you just rotate it until you feel it line up, and then you push it all the way in. Okay, and then the other end will go into here, and you'll just hear it click. You'll push it until it clicks. There it goes. So that is fully connected. Okay, there's a couple more steps, so stay with me. Here is a microphone that is still fully in the box. Some of the plastic wrapping will be removed by the time you get to it, but it'll probably remain in the box. It doesn't have to stay in the box, but because it's going to be transported a lot, it might be convenient. Okay, so here is the body of the receiver. And all these plastic wrappings are just to stop the scratches. If it gets scratched a little bit, it's still going to work perfectly fine. So don't worry too much about scratches. All right, so here's the body. And then you'll find these two little antennas. And the power cord. I'll set the rest aside for now. Okay, we'll plug in the power just like the previous microphone. Just like that. The two antennas will go on here. You turn it until the tabs line up, push it all the way in, twist until you feel it lock. B and C. Okay, now you'll rotate these so that they're at approximately the same angle. You don't want the antennas on one microphone to touch the antennas on another microphone. So you'll adjust them slightly so they don't touch each other. And then we'll get the microphone cord connected. Again, you put it on here where it says microphone 2, and you'll kind of twist it until the holes line up, then you push it all the way in. And then the same here, you line this up, push it until it clicks. Now this mixer is fully set up for use with microphones. There are other connectors on the mixer for you to connect other things like phones, keyboards, guitars, etc. Okay? Now, the next thing that we're going to connect is the speaker out. So over here on it says main out or speaker out or something like that. It's the same kind of cable, but you're going to use the long one. And you'll notice that it's the same cable, but you put the other end in. Okay, so you put it in, you rotate it until they line up, click it in, and this will go to one side, and the same thing here. So you put this here, rotate it until it lines up, push until it clicks, and that'll go to the other side. Okay, next we're going to set up the speakers. Okay, here are the instructions on how to set up the speaker. Okay, the speaker stand is stored like this, and sometimes it'll be in a sleeve or a case. Once you identify where your speaker is going to go, you need to find out, do you need extension cords to get there? The microphone cords or the speaker cords are about 20 feet long, and they will be able to run out, but you need power and signal out there. So keep that in mind when you are picking where your speakers will go. If you pick up extra cords, they can daisy chain just like electrical extension cords can daisy chain. You're not going to harm anything by getting a decent quality microphone cord and extending your signal out further. Okay? So the speaker stands have two main tightening knobs. Okay? And you undo the bottom tightening knob and get the feet to go out. Now if you'll look, that's too far. Okay? You want, remember, this isn't going to hold a lot of weight, but you have to be careful that if there's wind or a clumsy person jostling things around, it needs to be, the feet need to be wide enough to hold the speaker steady. Okay? So this looks like the feet are nice and wide. Twist this, just finger tight, no tools or anything, because it'll hold pretty well. And then the height of it, the height of this will go quite high, okay, and it'll come all the way out. And you can see that there are holes positioned in it, okay, and there's a little set pin right here. You don't want to trust that this little knob will hold your speaker up in the air. You find the height that you want and you push this pin in. My normal methodology for picking the height of this is that I want it to be at the height so the top of the speaker will go over the tops of the heads of your audience. Okay? If your audience will be seated, you can have this down lower, but a lot of times we're talking about your audiences are going to be standing in line, standing and talking, so it's going to be up pretty high. This is actually, I'm going to recommend that you put it on the second highest pinhole here. Okay, so you look at that, and it's probably 6.5 feet tall, right? When you slide the pin in there, it's got little notches. So as you push the pin in, it'll rest in that spot. Okay, and then rest the pin all the way down, snug it up, and it'll hold quite nicely. Now, the speaker. A lot of times people will just put the speaker back in the box. That's fine. It'll keep it from getting scratches or dust or dirt. I've already opened the box here. Okay, and there's a big handle on top. Yes, it's a little bit on the heavy side. Okay, and even me in my advanced years, I can lift it with one hand. This is the compact version of the speaker system. There's a grab handle on the side. There are ways to grab it on the bottom, and there's a very secure handle on the top. Okay. Now, when I put these up myself, I use the following method. I put it on my shoulder like this. Okay, I put it on my shoulder, and then I take the stand and I tilt the stand over. I put the stand in the hole, the socket at the bottom of the speaker, slide it all the way in, and then I set the speaker back up where it goes. Okay? And you can twist and turn. It does not need to be locked down. Gravity will hold it in place. If you have high winds, you probably shouldn't be setting up a PA system outside. So normally this is going to be decent weather, etc. Okay? You can move this if you're careful by after it's already set up to fine-tune your position. Okay. We're going to get kind of zoomed in a little bit so we can see what the back of the speaker looks like, and we're going to continue the installation from there. Okay, here is the back of the speaker. A little explanation of what you're looking at. The power cord gets plugged in here. This is the power switch, on, off. You'll want to make sure it's off before we get started. You'll most of the time be connecting up here. Okay, if you have two different sound sources, you can plug in here or here. Let's just stay with the first one. And there's other connections and other knobs up here. Okay, this right here can change the type or the quality of the sound. So default is the normal setting, and then it has other things for dances and subwoofers and etc. Just leave it on default and you'll be fine. Okay, and then you have this isn't really volume, this is called gain. Okay, these speakers have power in them, and under normal circumstances you'll turn them up to 0. Okay, and you're like, what do you mean to 0? Because it is a 1,000-watt speaker, and when it's on 0, it is putting out 1,000 watts. Okay, but before we really get started, we turn it down, turn it off, etc. Now we're ready to begin. We showed before how we had the microphone cable, also known as the speaker cable, connected to the output side of the mixer. We're going to connect that to this connection point right here now. Okay, and that's this cord right here. Again, it's the 3, and you're just going to put it on, and you're going to rotate it until the holes line up, and then push it in, and you'll hear it click. These have a little release, so they hold very securely and they don't fall out. You may want to get some Velcro or something else to secure the wire back here so that it looks nice. Do not pull on this downward. Leave a little bit of slack back here, okay, so that we don't bend this cord over time. Next, we'll want to plug in the power. Okay, so here's the power cord that comes in the box. It looks like a power cord that comes with your computer monitor. It's got the regular, this is called an Edison plug, and this one right here has got that trapezoid shape. You just line it up, make sure it's pushed in firmly, make sure it's all the way in, and then you plug it into that same Furman power strip if possible. It doesn't have to be, but it's better if it's plugged into the same Furman power strip so that it can share the ground. If it shares the ground, it's less likely to develop some kind of humming sound. Okay, and that's going to be your best quality. All right, so we have the signal, we have the power, it's plugged in, and then you can just turn this around to face the audience. These can point 75 degrees. So if your straight ahead is this way, half of 75 degrees and half of 70, yes, it's math, I'm sorry. You've got a 75 degree cone putting out the sound. So when the sound goes further to the side of the speaker, it gets a little bit quieter out there. So the best quality of sound is coming straight on and 75 degrees fully left and right. Okay, all right. Hope you guys understand that. All right, so we're going to, I'm going to connect up the other monitor off camera, and then we're going to go back to the mixer and the microphones, and we're going to get them ready to power up and turn on. Okay, we're just about ready to turn everything on. So remember, right now, everything is turned off. All of the power switches are turned off. The microphone receivers turned off. The mixer is turned off. The speakers are turned off, and the everything is off. Okay, so take a look at the knobs on the board. You want everything to be turned down all the way to begin. Okay. All the white knobs, take all the white knobs and turn them down all the way, okay? The first levels that we want to set are the inputs, these input gains. Every professional level mixer will have a unity, and it'll either be marked with a 0 or a U. These will have this particular one has a U. So you turn the gain until it gets to U. Sometimes they have a little notch and you'll feel it stop right there. And that's where we want to start, okay? We want to start there. They have these little buttons here that look like just a crooked line, and that is called a high-pass filter, meaning the high notes will pass, but the low ones will be cut, okay? And you'll want to press that high-pass filter on there. So both of these have the high-pass filter turned on. Both of them are set to unity. And then down at the bottom, you want to mute them, okay? And in this particular, mute is when you push the button down. And you can see the indicators. They have little, this particular one has little white stripes. As you push it down, the white disappears. Make sure the solo buttons are not pressed, and keep all of the rest of them at 0 for now, okay? All right, so this is ready to turn on, okay? With these set at unity and these set at mute, and the main out set at 0, this one is ready to turn on. With the mixer set properly, we're ready to turn power on. So we can turn the power strip power on. Sometimes the microphones will turn on all by themselves, okay? And in this case they did. If they don't, you press 2 to 3 seconds on the power button and it comes on, okay? With 2 separate microphone receivers, we want them to be on different channels. They have letters and numbers indicating, okay? If you want, and if you have time, you can scan. You can scan the channels to see if any of them are busy. Or you can just look down here where it says RF, and if it's blank, it's usually good. If there is any signal with the microphones turned off, if there's any signal coming in, that means something else is generating some interference. So you'll want to pick a different one. So you can press this button of group and it'll go find, it'll scan and it'll go find something else. Okay, it found J2. It doesn't matter what J2 means. It's just a different letter and number. And then down here on the bottom one, we can press the group on it and it'll scan around. And what it's doing is it's trying to find a very quiet frequency, okay? And this one is N7, okay? J2, as long as they're different, it doesn't matter which one is which, okay? Next, we're ready to put the batteries in and set that same channel here on the microphone. Okay. These come with batteries. Please do yourself a favor, bring extra batteries. Okay, always have extra batteries. When the battery runs out, the event gets very quiet, and this is the weakest part of your whole event is batteries. You'll want to use fresh batteries every day. If you run these more than 4 hours, then at the end of the day, if you only run it for an hour, you can run it for more than 1 day. But if you run it for more than 4 hours, you'll want to change the batteries. Okay, and obviously, just put the batteries in like normal. You will not want to store. You can keep them overnight in there, okay? But you will not want to store the batteries in here when you keep it for longer term or when you hand it off to the next person, okay? So both of these are batteries are in there, and to get the batteries to come out, you put your finger in this hole and it pops them out. Boom, just like that, okay? With the batteries in, we're ready to turn the device on. So you hold down the power button for several seconds, it'll come on, and then it'll show you for a few seconds what channel it's on. Let's see if we can focus this. So this looks like it's on B2, but it needs to match one of those two. So let's say we're going to match the top one, J2, okay? And what you do is then the group, we want to turn the group to the letter J. And we press it, B, C, D, E, F, G. Oh, I missed it. Oh, got to go around the horn. A, B, C, D, E, F, H, J. Okay, so leave it for a few seconds. And it says J1, but we need it on J2. Okay, so we press the number button till it goes to number 2. There we go. Now you'll notice when it hit, all of a sudden it's now transmitting some signal, the RF, that's the signal. And over here is, I'm going to go ahead and speak into it. Testing 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, and so now there's some audio that's going into the microphone. Now the speakers are not turned on, the volume's not turned up. This is the volume that is going into the microphone and being received by the speaker. Okay, you do the same thing with the other microphone. Have it match this one, which is N7. Once those are turned on, we'll be ready to turn on the speakers and start turning up the volume. Okay, with the microphones connected and signal is going through, we're ready to start powering up the mixer and the speakers. It's very important, the speakers are still turned off. We need to turn the mixer on first. We've verified that this is at 0. You find the power switch, turn it on, you'll see some lights that'll pop on, okay? And again, we double verify that this is at 0. Then we can come up and turn the speaker power on. You'll see some lights come on. We can put this at 0 dB because we can tell that there's no sound going through, no hum, no issue. So put that at 0. Then we come to the other one. Okay, and that's power comes on, power's up. This one's at 0 dB as well. Okay, we're ready to start doing sound checks. Okay, so we've already verified that the gain is at unity. See, it's right here where it says U and it says U. We've cut out our low levels. These levels that you're cutting out are lower than the human voice can make. This is stuff like for pianos or bass guitars. If you're running those kinds of devices through here, you can undo that. You can have that sticking out. And then most of these knobs will be just pointed straight up. Pan goes right and left. These are high, mids, and lows. Aux, we're not going to cover today, but just have that. You can turn the aux down all the way. We don't need to send anything to aux. Okay? And then this is either muted or not muted. Okay? We can see that this is unmuted. Okay? This is set to unity, so it's sending the full normal signal through, but this is still down at 0. So we'll pick up one of these microphones and see which one it is. Testing 1, 2, 3. That's number 2. Testing 1, 2, 3. That's the first one that we connected, but the first one that we connected is connected to channel number 2. When you look at these, this is called a channel strip. This is the input, this is the modification, this is the output. All of this is this channel right here. And then there's this nice little line, and this is the second one. So this cable right here is the bottom, and this cable right here is the next one up. So you keep that straight, and everything will be happy. Testing 1, 2, 3. You can see that's the bottom one. Okay, so we'll come down here. This is already unmuted. and we'll start turning this volume up. Test, 1, 2, check, test, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, check, test, 1, 2, 1, 2. And there we go. That's how to get some sound out of the system. Testing, 1, 2, 3. You then will just simply adjust until you get the sound that you want coming out of the system. The way to take down the system or strike the set is the opposite order of how we went and set everything up. The first thing that you will want to do is mute the soundboard. Turn the volumes down on the soundboard, and then immediately turn the power switches off on the speakers. You don't want to turn unplug anything until the speakers are turned off. Once you turn the speakers off, you can unplug them in the opposite way. And the easiest way that I've found, again, the opposite way of setting this up is you tilt it so that it comes down to your shoulder. I'll turn this a little bit so you can see. You tilt it so that it hits you on the shoulder, and then you could pull it off, okay? And then just set it down. They're not too heavy, but they are a little bit heavy, so just be careful. If you need a second person to help you, don't be afraid to ask. Okay? So with the power of the speakers turned off, you start unplugging everything. Turn the power of the mixer off. Turn the power of the power strip off. Just start unplugging everything. One of the things that is important with these cables, the way you treat these cables is very important. Okay, you can't treat them like this. You can't wrap them around your elbow because there are wires inside that will get all mixed up. Okay, so what you do is you stretch the cable out, and you kind of carefully untangle everything. Make sure that it's clean. There is a waterproof coating on it, but if it's gotten dirty or dusty or something from laying on the ground, just get a damp cloth and put a damp cloth in your hand, and then pull the cable through your damp cloth. And I like to pull it through my hand no matter what. It kind of straightens everything out. Okay. When I coil this up, I strongly recommend this. It may be too difficult for folks to remember. At a church event, everybody's going to offer to help you to coil up the cables. And if they've not been trained, they're going to do this, and it's going to start the ruining process of your cable, and then we have to buy new ones. Okay? So what you do is, it's called the over and back. So you make a coil with the cable, one coil, and then you coil it the opposite direction. Okay? You see how this is going over the top? Okay? That's a normal coil. And then the second one is you go underneath, over and back, over and back. And I just use my fingers to twist it, over and back, and over and back, and over and back. Okay? Now, this cable is now ready to pull out, and it's not going to twist itself as you pull out for the next operation. Okay? You can treat the extension cords the same way. If you do, they'll all last longer. Okay? With a little bit of luck, there will be some either twisty ties or pieces of Velcro for you to put around the cable so that it'll stay all coiled up. We're also going to try to have like a storage box. So you've got the coil of cable, you go put it in the storage box, and then you start moving on to the next item.